All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This was an interview I could not wait to get because this young lady on the side of me, Miss Thelma Price, is from Dolton, born and raised. And we're going to get more into her history in Dolton. But she's been very vocal. You know, she's been very active in the political scene. So let's give it up for Miss Thelma Price, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Thelma Price, let's give it up.
Hi,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Welcome, Thelma. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing, everyone?
I'm good. I'm good. And it's so good to see you and have you here. Thank you for taking the time to come on out and, share your story with us and talk about Dolton. We're going to talk about last night's Lightfoot report in a minute. But before we do, tell me who you are, how long you've been in Dolton. Where did it all start in Dolton for you?
Well, I've been in Dolton. I purchased my home in 2006,
Uh-huh.
and I'm originally from Chicago on the east side. And I was born and raised over in that area on 6835 South Harper.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised there, and my children was raised there.
How
Yes.
about that? So how was the political scene back then during that?
When I was back in the city over east, my family was heavily involved in politics. My dad worked for Alderman Troutman of the 20th Ward. I actually was a precinct captain for her
Oh,
in her ward. And my mother was a block club president for our block. And we was just very active. My parents was always active in the political scene, getting involved in the community. I was like the chauffeur for my mom, so I would take her to all these meetings. We used to go to CAPS at Third District in Chicago, the police station, and we was just involved. It's in my DNA.
who would have thought that now, since you're moved to Dolton and you're in Dolton in 2025, you're now doing the same activism that your parents did.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never guess, and I never would think that I would be this strongly active like I am. And I'm just so happy. And I tell a lot of people that this fight that I'm in Dalton, I was destined for this fight. And really, this fight gave me purpose and it saved my life also.
And we're going to talk about that later, Thelma. You and I talked about that briefly a few nights ago. And when you left Chicago, you're in Dolton, and you've got a beautiful home out there in Dolton. I've seen pictures of it. You showed it on Facebook. And tell us, when did you first meet or hear about Tiffany Henyard?
Well, like I was saying, when I first purchased my home, I was active in the scene. Well, when I came out here, the Shaw brothers was running the town.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that passed, when Shaw, then it was Lewis, and then we went with Rogers. And then Tiffany, that's when Rogers put Tiffany on his slate to be a trustee, and she actually won. Robert Hunt and Tiffany, they both was on his slate.
Former Mayor Riley. That's right.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
he and Tiffany got together and they ran on a ticket. So that's how you knew. That's the first time you heard about Tiffany.
Correct.
Riley Rogers pretty much introduced Tiffany to Dolton.
Yes, he put her on his slate, and she ended up, stabbing him in his back.
So were you watching the meetings? Were you attending the meetings back during the run?
Yes. When I would get off from work, I would have the bus drop me off, and I would walk right to the village. It was never an excuse for me not to go to meetings. So I always say, if you care about something, you're gonna make time. And it was important to me because in my younger, when I was with my mom, I seen how it's important to be involved. You got to be connected and involved, engaged, in your community.
Back then, Tiffany was a trustee, and how was she when she was a trustee to you?
Oh my God, she was awful. She was so disrespectful, and she was horrible. She was
even when she
horrible
was a
to me.
trustee before she had.
Well, she talked the talk of how she wanted things, and as far as she was for the people. And some things she was right, like holding the mayor accountable. So that's why people kind of gravitated to her, because it's like, oh, wow. But see, when she got in that seat herself, all that stuff went out the window.
Yeah.
She forgot about those days when she was a trustee and she was fighting for the community and all of that. It went out the window, but she was very, very disrespectful to Mayor Rogers. She was.
Yeah, I would agree. I did watch some of those meetings, and I highlighted some of those from back then, and you could tell that there was some contempt. What do you think? She was just jealous because she wasn't the mayor and he was. He had all his power. Why do you think he was that way?
You know what? I really don't know why she was that disrespectful. I mean, I cannot tell you what happened. I really cannot tell you why she went into that direction, because he was the person that brought her in.
Right.
So I just don't understand it. So when you see her sitting up there, she knows how things are supposed to be ran. She knows that the mayor should not, things have to go across the board. You just can't do what you want to do. And
It's a process.
It's a process, correct? It is.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah. And so back then, when she was a trustee, how did the community perceive her? I mean, because you're out there, you're in the audience.
Well, some people loved her energy, and then some people, thought, what, you're doing too much. You're just too disrespectful. And I was one of the ones that's like, what, she's too much, but I never thought that she would explode, like, crash out like this. This is crazy.
Ed Steve said in that documentary by Regina Waldrop, The Cost of Chaos, that it wasn't until that lawsuit when she won, she just really went crazy. She was powerhead and she really went wild.
Which lawsuit? For when they was trying to
after the recall, when she was trying
recall. Oh yeah. She went crazy.
Yeah.
The taxes they're high now. They are high now.
Yeah.
They are.
And did they go up after Tiffany became mayor? Did it go up, the taxes?
Well, back when Raleigh was here, it wasn't high like it is now, but yeah, it did kind of go up. But she was saying that the trustees raised the taxes. That's not what was happening.
There you go.
And that's the Illinois thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's taxes then went up, But I just feel that we're gonna be hurt more because of all the damage she has done to the businesses, not giving them their license. And when you do that, it comes, it comes back in the face of the taxpayers, the residents.
They're gonna sue, and now we got to pay for the lawsuit to clean up this mess.
Right. And then we have all these lawsuits, unnecessary lawsuits, not sending FOIAs out, a lot of stuff that could have been avoided, So, trustee House, he and the clean house slate, they're going to have a lot of work to do, some hard work to do to clean this situation up.
We're going to get to that in a minute, but back to, the mayor now. You've been very vocal at these meetings. You've been very vocal. You've actually was in one of the local newspapers, pictured with your T-shirt. Y'all going to jail, and did you come up with that? Well, we don't know why, but what kind of got you into that mode to do that T-shirt and to really build that courage for you to go up to the mic?
Well, it was like the total disrespect, and I had the shirt made. One of my friends, her husband, designed that shirt for me. Now, usually at the meetings, when she started giving her report, I would just be sitting in my seat and I would turn my back. So I said, you know what, I need to do something different. I need to do something different. I think it was a person on Dolton Politics that was saying, you know, I used to always say y'all going to jail, but I didn't have the shirt. So that a person on Dolton Politics said, you need to get a shirt. And that's how come I went ahead and got the shirt design. And then I came in there and baby, she started talking her talk and I stood up and it had y'all going on to jail on the front and the back. So when I turned my back, she could see the back. And then when I turned around, the news cameras was right in my face. And I made history that day.
You did.
It was a turning point. And it became a movement for me.
It did. And we talked about that because that wasn't set up to be comical or to, attack Tiffany. You wanted her to understand that us residents are serious. We're tired. We are listening to what's going on. And you wanted to get her attention by saying, listen, this is how we feel. This is what's going on in the community. What do you think? How do you think she perceived that?
It didn't get in her head. She doesn't care.
She don't care.
She didn't care about that. If you watch her, she doesn't care, but it meant something to me and it meant something to the world. So that's what I care about, what the world is thinking, not her.
It did. And so now, she's also the supervisor over there in Thornton Township. They've got their own set of problems. You've attended their meetings as well. Do you think it's important that both communities come together and work together? I know Dan Lee has mentioned this and come in unison and really drive the narrative that Tiffany Henyard is bad for both the township and the village.
Absolutely. I agree with Dan Lee. And that's the reason why I go to both meetings, because both of them are very important. And the same stuff that she has done to the village of Dolton is unfolding in front of everybody right now in Thornton Township. So it's important.
And let me ask you though, because the residents in Dolton Township, in my opinion, are not as strong and built up enough courage to go to the meeting compared to those in Dolton. Do you know why that is the way that is?
Well, this is the thing. When I first moved out in Dolton, I wasn't going to Thornton. This is the first time I started going to Thornton Township meetings. Until this situation happened with her being our mayor and then her becoming a supervisor. I never attended any of their meetings, period. So I would think that it was more people coming out back then. I really don't know, but that's one thing that saddens me about Thornton Township, that the people don't really participate.
Right.
And a lot of people want to blame us because we kind of we be bringing the smoke, Dolton, and they want to make the excuse sometimes. Well, the meetings is too wild, but I'm gonna tell you something. That movement was necessary. Everything that's ever happened in a meeting at Dolton, it was necessary. We was not going to allow her to disrespect us in any way. And every resident is a piece to the puzzle. And that's why our movement is successful.
And that's why your movement is the reason why it moved the way it moved.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you wanted to get that attention, and not only get you attention, but you guys have captured the world's attention. Tell us about the experience where you were locked out. I remember I clipped a meeting where you were sitting on one of those chairs on the wheels because Tiffany locked the doors and wasn't preventing the residents from coming in. They had to park blocks away from the hall. What happened? Tell us about that. How did it affect you too?
Oh my God, it was just horrible. I mean, that was normal. We was always locked out. But I think what really bothered me, it was a lady, one of the residents, and this woman she was like 89 years old on a walker, and she was locked out too. Her son had to park blocks away, so you know, she had to walk down blocks away just to get in front of the village, and she wouldn't let them park in the parking lot. The only people that was allowed to park in the parking lot was Keith Price, her attorneys, you know, her people. And they were already in the building, and all the residents was locked off. She had everything. You couldn't get to the village. You had to walk down 2 blocks before you can get to the village. That's how it was blocked off all the way around. She had to, and that was during the time when she had the police was like controlling everything. You know, it was bad.
Which I had strong disagreement with, because that's a board meeting. You know, Lacey and the cops, you know, they shouldn't have been controlling that meeting the way they did. But
yes,
that's then now. And do you think we'll ever get back in the village hall and have a meeting within the village hall? Do you think that'll happen?
You know, I don't know. That's for Jason. You see how I'm speaking in the future.
Yeah.
Jason gonna be the mayor.
Yeah,
and you know, they'll make that decision. You know, I'm sure they're gonna have to make it where more people can be able to get in there. And you know, I think eventually we will be able to go back, you know, when they make the changes that they need to make, because they had even down the size, the amount of people that could go into the village. They made it a lower amount. So they're probably going to have a fire department to come back in there and make it where it can expand it a little bit more, so more people can fit in.
More people can get in, exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to talk over Jason, because you know, he's going to be making the decisions, and you know, he's going to do, him and his board, they're going to do what's ever right for the citizens.
Jason House is also a trustee, and he was also a trustee when Tiffany was a trustee.
Correct.
They were at one point getting along together, and they passed some legislation together. Correct.
Correct.
Do you think the deal broke between them two?
Well, I think, you know, Jason have seen her conduct for a good while, and like you said, they have did some things together. They have, you know. I think the gloves was off when she became the mayor. The gloves really came off when they were locking them out of the system, not giving them the information, disrespecting their title of being trustees. You know, that's when the gloves came off, you know, because she was totally disrespecting them, and they have been elected by the people. So she shouldn't have been doing that.
And that makes me think she's hiding something. How important is this movement to the village of Dolton, this movement that has started from Jason House?
It's very important. And what, I don't know if you know, people wanted Jason to run the first time. They wanted him to run then, but you know what I love about Jason, they wanted him to run for mayor. They wanted him to run. But you know what I love about Jason, he felt that it wasn't time.
Right.
You know, and he didn't want to do it, and it worked out. It wasn't time. This is the time.
This is the time.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
and you know, she wouldn't be mayor. She got the lesser votes. People really voted for her because of the people that was on her ticket. You know, it wasn't because she's Tiffany Henyard. They voted for her because of the people that she had around her, because they respected the people that she had around her.
Let's talk about the election coming up. Well, we know for sure Tiffany is not going to be on Thornton Township ballot.
No.
Judge threw away the case with some extra editorial, so she's done in Thornton. Her time is limited. Now we're focus on Dolton. How important is this election? And I want you to talk to me as if I'm a resident. If I'm a resident and I can vote, which I'm not, but let's just say I am, talk to me. How important is this election?
This election is so important, and we got to show out on this election. We got to get out there And, you know, we have a lot of seniors in the village. We got a lot of seniors that's just by themselves and they really don't have any family. And then you got seniors that do have family, and I'm talking to the family that have a relative out in Dolton. You should come out and talk to your loved ones. You all should get together as a family and talk about what's going on. Help them get out and vote early. You know, you can vote on a Saturday, Sunday. So it's really no excuse, especially if you've got a family member that you can help. And I'm hoping that they'll reach out to their family members. And then we're trying to reach out to the seniors too. I know Jason, they in the Clean House Slate, they've been out to the senior homes out in Dolton, trying to talk to the residents, you know, and, you know, just to connect with them, engage with them, to tell them more about himself. Because it's a lot of, you know, I've been on the phone, Bang. It's a lot of people, the older people that don't really know what's going on because, you know, they're not on the internet.
I'm glad you brought that. Let's talk about that. I did see some pictures and video of you at the phone bank, you know, making it happen, getting the word out. What's the response you're getting from it?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I'm getting good responses, but she got some supporters, though. People didn't hung up in my face. People have said no, but it's like 3 people. And then the rest of the people is like, hey, we got to get her out of here. You know,
Yeah.
But one thing about the Clean House Slate, they're not taking anything for granted.
Right.
At all. You know, they're not. So, you know, it's going real good. And, you know, the phone bank, last week, I went all last week. I think I went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I went Sunday. And I'm taking off Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm going to go back, keep on doing it until we get past the election. Because it's, you know, we need people to volunteer, to come in, to get on these phones. It's so much that needs to be done. You know, Jason and the Slate, they were knocking on doors last week. They was up at the grocery store. So they really trying to reach out to people, you know.
Why are you voting for Jason?
The reason why I'm voting, because I know that Jason, he has that financial background, which we're going to need that to be able to navigate through this situation, this crisis that we're in as far as with the deficit. So he's a great fit for it. Everybody that's a part of this slate, I'm talking about the 4, I'm not talking about the 2, Stan Brown and Holmes. I'm talking about the 4 good trustees that care about the people. Everyone brings something to the table. Each and every one of them has something to bring to the table to better Dolton. And that is the reason. And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching all of them, and they have always been just great people. And I feel the character does matter. It matters a lot.
It does matter.
No one knew about Dolton until this happened. You know, when this happened, she put us on the map for the wrong reasons. Yeah. But what I can tell you, Dolton is a beautiful community. And when I first moved out here, and still now today, I love Dolton, you know, because you have a bunch of residents that really care. We care about our property. I know I'm not the only one that does that. I go out on my block and I clean everybody's front. Every house, I pick up paper on their front because it's part of exercise for me. Mm-hmm. And I just go through my block and pick up paper. And I'm not the only person that does that. Dan Lee, he's the same way. He has had people get mad at him because he's picking up paper. Why are you doing that? Because we want our village to be beautiful, you know?
It's sad because that generation is dying down.
Mm-hmm.
The election is in right?
Yeah, early voting is February 10th, and February the 25th is election day.
The primary. That's a Democratic primary.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then whoever wins that primary will most likely win the general election, which is
correct,
against whoever the Republican candidate is. What was your What was your take on last night?
My take on the report,
Yeah.
I loved it. I think she did a fabulous job. Just she explained it for the normal, like a person like me that might not know a lot about government. And I think a lot of people are like that. They really don't know the ins and outs and the guardrails that's supposed to be in place. And from that meeting, I took away, number one, she vindicated the trustees, because you had some people saying that that they was the problem. The mayor constantly lied up there and said they had access. They never had access. And then Lori Lightfoot was able to prove how Ed Stephen House was sending emails like, look, we need this information. The same with the clerk. Freeman and the mayor was saying that she wasn't doing her job, but they blocked her from doing her job,
Right.
So, I think what Lori, people got to understand, the FBI investigation is that's going to be the juicy one.
Yeah.
That's the one they going to bring the guns for real, the FBI. But I
understand those FBI investigations take a long time to put together.
They do.
Because they want to make sure that they have enough to not only get a charge, but to win that charge, So people got to understand those FBI investigations take a long time to put together. And, what's your take? Where were you when you found out that the FBI came and raided Village Hall?
I was actually at my house, and my husband was gone to a doctor's visit, because I would have raced right up there just to be there, to be filming and everything. But I was trapped at home. I couldn't get out. But you are exactly right. And for the residents, we can't wait for the FBI. We got to do this ourselves, because we have had no help from anybody, from the governor, the AG office. They finally ruled that we can have the meeting at the Park District, because we was making Kwame look so bad, because people were writing letters and everything. It's like he had to do something, because he was looking very bad, and I believe that's the only reason why he did something.
Why do you think Governor, is it Pritzker?
Yes.
Pritzker. Why do you think he's been very lax and not involved?
You know what? I don't know. I do not know, but I think that this should have been stopped long before. We've been fighting for 4 years. 4 years we've been in a fight with this woman, because as soon as she got in, she was trying to say that the trustees turned on her. She turned on them, because once she got in that seat, she said, hey, I'm gonna do what I want to do, my thing. She already had that set up in her mind, what she was gonna do. And then for the people that say, well, hey, y'all voted her in, my story is a little different.
What's your story?
My story is, I didn't trust her. In like the first election was Rogers. And then what Tiffany does a lot, she throws people in different races to try to break up the support. You see what I'm saying? To split the vote. And so, Rogers lost. So when it was time for Tiffany and Burge, which he used to be a police officer in Dolton, which we had problems with him when he was a police officer in Dolton, both of them were horrible. Tiffany was no good, and Officer Burke, he was no good. So it was like, they didn't have a choice, because I didn't vote for it. They didn't have a choice but to say, well, okay, we're gonna go with Tiffany. Yeah. And we're gonna surround her and support her, and we're gonna help her. We know she a little, rough on the edges, but if we all get around her and be able to help her, we'll be okay. That was the thought. Yeah. So people cannot blame the citizens. Y'all voted her in. We didn't have a good candidate. We didn't have a choice. You see what I'm saying? But for me, I stayed in. They were saying how the voting turnout was low. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Me and my husband stayed back, because I wasn't giving neither one of them a vote. So I just
Yeah.
said, I'm done. I'm not even voting. And I'm sure it was other residents that felt the same way when Rogers lost. We just didn't go out, you know. Just say forget it. But she ended up getting it because everybody voted, you know, that team. They loved the team that was around her, and that's why she got in. Not because she's Tiffany Henyard. She won because of the people that was around her.
What do you think that she's going to do as far as desperate measures to win this election in Dolton?
I don't know, but I know they're going to be really watching. Everybody got an eye on this election. So as far as trying to cheat and do some bad things, it's too many people watching.
Because I'd seen reports of part of her group picking out lawn signs and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, you take the sign, we still voting for a clean house. You know, we gonna still put some more signs up. If you come down my block, houses all through my block. We not playing. All through my block. And I'm sure she rides past all the time and see that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, you can't be fooled. Signs don't vote, but they will scare you. When you seeing all those signs, blue signs, that's enough to scare you like, oh Lord. Because you know what? I have not seen a sign for her yet.
That was one thing to ask you. Have you seen a sign? Have you seen any promotional material for a campaign yet?
I've seen, she did send out a mailer, but I have not seen anybody with a sign in front of their house.
Wow.
And just because you don't see a sign, like I have a lot of people that I have talked to on the phone, and that's one of the things we ask, are you going to be a strong supporter? Are you going to vote? Are you going to be a strong supporter? Do you want to sign? And a lot of people, we have had a lot of people say yes, but I do have people that say no. Like my neighbor that's next to me, they won't put a sign up, but I know they're a strong, clean house supporter. Some people just don't want to, you know, they don't want to be harassed. They feel like they're going to be harassed if they put the sign out. But I'm in the point now, I ain't scared of nobody. I got my sign out.
What gave you, and I think I touched on this earlier, but I want you to kind of, because me and you talked privately about this, what kind of motivated you, you know, to get into this fight? You know, aside from Tiffany's wrongdoing and you looking to stand up for your community, you know, what happened, you know, that made you say, I got to get out this house. I've got to start, because you're retired. I know that you are retired.
I'm retired.
Yes.
I'm 58 years old. I used to work at Rush Hospital for the Department of Neurosurgery at Rush for 23 years. And August the 22nd of 2020, my son passed away. He was 32 years old. And then November, that's when I contracted COVID, and I almost passed away in the ICU at Rush. So when I finally got out of the hospital, I could barely walk. I could not wash myself up or anything. My husband had to help me. I would look on the internet, and we have a gentleman that's been with our fight from the very before me, Maki San. I used to go and sneak and lurk on his page because he would have all the tea about Tiffany and everything. So that was like my go-to page. And then my good friend and resident, Sherry Britton, we ended up getting connected, which we've always been connected back in when I first moved out here, and we were both was campaigning for Rogers at that time, and we were friends. But she hooked up back up with me when I got out of the hospital, and she would call me by bedside, let me know everything that's going on. This is happening. And at that time, I could not even barely walk to get out there in the streets and go to meetings. So baby, when I did my rehab and got myself together, and you know, I would have to bring my walker out with me because I can't stand for very long periods of time. That's when I got well, I got out in these streets and I never looked back, you know. And I knew I got to get out there. I got to get out here, and I love my community. I couldn't just sit back and just hide in my house and not step out.
Right. And this also had a lot to do with you, getting out there and motivating you,
Yes,
for
yes,
it.
we talked about that. My son passed away. He had like a massive heart attack. He had high blood pressure, and it was a weekend that we had went over to my brother's house to visit my aunt because she wasn't doing well, and we were thinking that she was about to pass away. So I told my son, I said, "Hey, we need to go over to Al's house, and we need to go and see about Auntie Audrey." So when we came back from my aunt's house, my son, he had his little daughter with him. She was with him for the weekend. And they ended when we came back to Dolton, he got in his car and went back to Calumet City because he lived in Calumet City. That morning, the next morning, it was like about 7 o'clock in the morning. He was walking around, the baby was up with him. He dropped dead right in front of the baby. So my grandbaby, oh my God, she didn't understand what was going on. And when I finally talked to her on the phone, she was telling me, she was going up to him, trying to open up his eyes, and they kept closing. And, she just went out, she got out of the house and she started walking down Sibley, and she was barefooted, and a motorist was riding past and seen this little baby walking down the street crying, and the motorist turned around and stopped her car and jumped out and said, "Baby, what's wrong?" And she said, "My daddy is hurt. My daddy fell down. My daddy is hurt." So the lady put my grandbaby in her car, and she said, "Do you know where you live at?" And the baby pointed out the building. And the woman, she did not go upstairs because she could feel that something didn't happen. Something is not right. She called the Calumet City Police Station. He was dead when he hit the floor. He was already dead, when he hit the floor. So my son's death gave me a purpose to want to do what I'm doing. And it also saved my life because, when my son died, I was just so heavily depressed. It would be some days that I could not even get out of bed. And I know people say that y'all going to jail, lady, is so strong. But, in life, everybody have, situations like that bothers them. And, I was heavily depressed. And when I started working, and it took my mind off of my situation, it just took my mind off of it. And I thank God for it. And like I said, this movement has saved my life. It really has.
God loves you, Thelma. He
Oh,
really
thank
does.
you.
God loves you. They got your back. They watching over you. He then reached into me. He said, "Hey, you need to get my mother on YouTube, interview her. She deserves the flowers."
Oh, thank
Does,
you.
Thelma, you do deserve it, because when I started watching those meetings and I saw you, even though the podium was here, your head was trying to get to the podium, you made sure you got your word out, and it meant a lot, and it resonated with a lot. Okay, what's your take on Kiana Belcher? She's also one of my favorites.
Oh, baby, that's the woman with the receipts. I just
That's
love
so
me some
true.
Kiana.
Yeah,
She be
yeah,
bringing it, baby. She be bringing
do.
it. But what
She
I
do.
wanted to tell you that probably a lot of people don't know, we have some good stuff going on in Dalton. And the reason why
What
is
is it? Yeah, tell me. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, go ahead.
the reason why it's so successful is because the mayor is not involved in it. We have a awesome park district. President Cleo Jones and his commissioners, baby, they're doing a fabulous job,
Really?
of trying to redo our parks and making them beautiful. And one while the mayor was holding up their permit, and they had like a big grant that they was given, but they needed to do the work to be able to,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah.
they was holding up the permit for a very long time. And thank God the trustees helped them get that together. But what I'm saying, we have some good things happening. We have a fabulous state of the art library. And Louise Copeland is the president over that library, and her board of trustees. I don't know if they're called trustees, but she has a board, and they are not a part of Dolton. The mayor cannot tell them what to do at the park district or at the library. And the library has all types of different functions for the seniors, exercising class, cooking classes, line dancing, just so much health fairs. It's just so much stuff going on that's great. You know, the park district has so many different programs. And about 2 months ago, we were at Tea with the Trustee in the park. Park District President Cleo Jones did a presentation where he was just giving us an update on everything that they're doing and the completed projects, what they're going to be doing in the future. And even the trustees brought in some people. And we're looking towards our future already. We're already talking about the things we want to do, the type of businesses that we want to come in the community. The new businesses are going to come as soon as she leaves. See, right now, don't no business want to come in here because they see what she has done to other businesses. Why would they want to come here? They're not going to come here until she's gone, you know, and the businesses will come. You know, and what I like about Jason, he wants the whole community to be involved. He wants to have committees where you will have a voice about what's coming in, what type of business we want to come in. You know, and see, that's why I'm saying, that's why the residents, you got to be involved so you can know these things. You got to come to these meetings and tea with the trustees so you can know what's going on.
What goes on at the Tea of the Trustees? I've always heard about it. What goes on?
The Tea with the Trustees is such a great platform that they created. And what I like about them is no filming. So you don't have a camera in your face. So if you're that resident was like, oh, I don't want nobody to see me here, it's the perfect place. It's the perfect place for you to ask all the questions that you want to ask. The trustees, they are so welcoming. You know, you can stop Jason, any of them, and talk to them. They will speak to you, answer questions. And that's what that meeting is about. Because when you get to the board meeting, they don't answer any questions. The mayor does not allow any questions to be answered at all. And what I want to say to the residents, no, don't be fooled. We're going to have a little hurt in this situation because a lot of damage has been done, you know. So, you know, hey, some things may have to go up a little bit. And I'm just being honest, you know, why lie? This woman, this administration has done so much damage to the village that, you know, give Jason and his team time to get it together. Don't come in there and come to a meeting in 2 months hollering and screaming. It's going to take some time. To get, he basically got a clean house. He got a clean house.
And I'm glad you brought that up. People got to understand it's going to take some time. It's a lot to clean up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen in a year, 2 years.
It might be a full term.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. You know, and if I sat here and lied to the people like that, that would be horrible. So the residents got to know that, you know, we gotta give them time and we gotta stay engaged. And this is what I tell all residents. Just because Jason House get in, don't be like, oh, okay, Jason is in. No, you still need to be engaged. You gotta hold everybody accountable. That's what it's about. I know that they're going to do an excellent job, but I want the residents to stay engaged, you know, because it's going to be needed. All hands is going to have to be on deck for us to build up from the ashes, because the mayor has burned her town down. So we gotta clean all of this up and get it together. You know.
Where do you see Dolton 10 years from now?
I see Dolton. I really feel that we have a really bright future. I really feel good. And see, that's why I feel good about this slate, because I could see a future, even though there's so much stuff going on. I see a future with them because, first of all, I know that they're all good character type of people, and they want the best for the community. They really do. And you got to think, This man is about to, he's inheriting garbage. The way that this woman has tore this village down. This man can't do nothing. This man and the slate, the rest of the trustees, they gotta love their community to even want to be bothered. You know, they love this community, and they're gonna make sure that we come back shining bright, because this is a beautiful community. And you know, I was kind of mad at the report and all the other news stations talking about that. You know, we a village, and the annual income is 22,024.
Yeah,
that is not true.
Not true.
That is not true.
Yeah, it's not true. No.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. We got some residents out here making six figures. We got some residents out here with some beautiful homes.
I believe
you
that.
know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the goal right now, you know, is to clean house 2025.
Yeah. It's a lot of cleaning involved. You know, they're gonna have to.
It's gonna be a lot of cleaning involved. I'm gonna share with everyone where to donate to the Clean House 2025. Yeah. For us outsiders, we are not there to do the phone bank. We're not out there to do the drop lit. You know, that's to drop all the literature at the homes. We're not there to do that. But what we can do is donate to this 5, 10, 20. I'm pledging 50.
Thank you so much.
To help them buy the people locally, you know, to hire the people locally to do the things that we can. So I encourage everybody to definitely donate to Clean House 2025. You know, they're doing a tremendous job. And
yes, they are.
Look at Thelma. You know, Thelma's been through it. She's had some challenges. And look, she is still vibrant and healthy and just going to town. So, you know, listen, we got to support Dolton. You know, we got to come through and help Clean House 2025 clean house. Thelma, before we wrap up, you know, it's been about almost an hour. What else can you tell us about this election coming up? What other things the residents need to know about this election coming up?
That, you know, we got to get out there. We cannot play any games, and we got to get out there and vote. That is the key thing. Everybody has to show up. They have to show up, you know. So,
what's Fania Dukes doing? How's she doing?
She's doing great. She's hanging in there. I'm sure it's some, you know, I don't talk to her on a regular, but with a situation that she's going through, I know it's some days she's probably up and some days that she's down, and we just got to keep her in prayer, you know, because
when you see her, please.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah. She's hanging in there. She's doing the best that she can.
And Alicia Nicole, she's with you at these meetings too.
Oh yeah, that's one of my heavy hitters there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I just want to thank you. I want to thank all the people around the world. I just want to thank everybody that has helped us in this movement. I want to thank Jedediah and his INA, everybody, because we all. It's not one person or two person or the people you see all the time on TV, this and that. We all have played a role, and we all have added a piece to this puzzle, to this movement, you know. And like I said, when we first started going to the meetings, it used to be 5 residents of the people that I'm with, and it would be a bunch of people that the mayor would have filling up the place, people from Chicago, from other places, and then she might have had a few Dolton people, but it wasn't a lot. But then as time went on and they started seeing the movement, then the people started coming out. So I'm just happy. But I just want everybody to know I appreciate everyone that has helped us. Everyone, you know, everyone.
Absolutely, Thelma. Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time to sit down with me and to really give your perspective on things as far as the election, the community, Tiffany. You know, let me ask you though, one quick question before we go. And I always wondered this: what do you think is going to happen to Tiffany in the future when she loses this election? Do you think she's going to have an easy time getting a job? How's she going to move on? Where's she going to go? What do you think she's going to do?
I don't know. I hope she be in jail. She need to be in jail somewhere, you know.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, that's where she need to go because, you know, seriously, you know, it can't be no snap on the wrist. I mean, what she has done is awful. Hopefully, I hope they make it where she could never get in politics again because she shouldn't have a job in politics ever again. Keith Freeman should not never have a job in politics again. And I appreciate him helping at the end, but still, you know, he's gonna have to pay for his part also.
All right, Thelma Price, it's been real. Thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. We're going to do another interview. That'll be after the election, and then we'll be talking about all the good things that's going to happen.
Yes, our future, Dolton's future. But what I do want to tell you, even at which I don't like to talk about Thornton Township that much, but now with Thornton Township, the mayor, Chris Clark of Harvey, is trying to run, and I'm like, are you serious? I mean, his town is all tore up.
Yeah,
and he's trying to put himself over in the township. That's a no-no.
Sandra, yeah. What's her story? Do you think she got a chance?
No, she does not have a chance. Let me tell you something. I have never seen a woman at a meeting. When I first moved out here, she has never been active in a community. You know, at all. She haven't even been campaigning. You know, she don't even have the votes of her own block. First, you need to get the votes of your own block. She don't have a chance at all. She been going all around talking to different outlets. She was actually on my brother-in-law's outlet, Intellectual Radio, talking smack and all that. She don't even know what she's talking about, period. She's a non-factor at all, period.
All right, y'all. On that note, we're going to end it right there. Thelma Price, Dolton, Illinois.
Yes.
Appreciate
Clean House 2025.
Clean House 2025. All right. Thank you so much, Thelma, for taking the time to meet with us. And listen, nothing but good things to come for you guys in Dolton, all right?
Thank you so much.